This program is brought to you by Sunglow Feeds. Feed their potential.
He was a super easygoing kind of boar, kind of a once-in-a-lifetime sire. Definitely feel very fortunate to have been able to be a part of a sire that kind of revolutionized a lot of things.
I mean, he's really made the Berkshire breed relevant, you know, taking him from a minor breed to a big player.
He's a once-in-a-lifetime boar. We knew we need to ramp up our efforts and really do this the right way, be full throttle in it. So as soon as we saw Superman, it was game on in our minds.
He really checks off everything for what it takes to be a legend, you know, on the kind of the Hall of Fame sires for us.
We were very, very lucky to have housed Superman here at Premium Blend Genetics, and we truly believe Superman is a livestock legend. My name is Ted Laird, and I'm the owner of Premium Blend Genetics, and we were fortunate to house Superman that we owned in conjunction with Jones and Bennett out of Texas, and we believe Superman was truly a legend in the Berkshire breed and helped kind of change that deal and make them as popular as they are today.
Superman was a Berkshire boar who was born with a lot of purple behind him. The son of Bar None, the reserve grand overall male at Duncan, and his dam was the 2011 Houston champion Gilt.
Superman was bred by Chris Jones and Brian Bennett, Jones and Bennett Berkshires. We got to know Chris really well because he bought several bears and gilts to show down in Texas out of our foundation Berkshire sow, which was Miss Hathaway. So we got to know him really well there. We had decided to keep a couple of Berkshire boars out of Miss Hathaway that we thought were pretty special. We were just going to kind of use them here for ourselves and maybe sell a little semen on the side. Chris had heard that and gave me a call and said, you know, he had a couple of really, really good Berkshire males that had been doing well on the circuit and wondered if we'd be interested in selling, getting them up here and selling semen on them. At the time, I wasn't sure how big we were going to go with the deal, so I told him we'd think about it. Superman went on then down there in the open shows, or in the jackpots, and he was shown 6 times and won champion AOB 5 of them. The 6th time he was beaten by his litter mate.
It was actually the day of my college graduation from IU that we left immediately after to go get Superman, and like he said, my dad alluded to it, the idea of the boar stud was planted in us, and we were going with it, but when we saw that boar, we knew we weren't going to take that opportunity for granted. I mean, it's not every day. I mean, he's a once-in-a-lifetime boar. We knew we need to ramp up our efforts and really do this the right way, be full throttle in it. So as soon as we saw Superman, it was game on in our minds.
You know, it's kind of one of those moments I'll never forget when I saw Superman walk off the trailer, and at that point, we knew we were in for a different deal here with the stud, and things kind of ramped up real quick from there.
Yeah, he was, I mean, every morning he'd be right up at the gate when we go in to feed. He'd love getting scratched behind the ear. Only liked to get collected a certain way, so I usually had to collect him every time, so he's pretty picky in that. But I mean, just really kind of never really had a bad day until he got injured. Like I said, all around, just a really, really good boar.
He's definitely taken the Berkshires from just Berkshires to crossbred like, extra muscle, extra bone, added width, made them so they can play in the overall deal and not just, you know, be a champion Berk and that's it. You know, really, he was one that, you know, got people excited, got people rolling, you know, in that Berkshire thing, and it's really, you know, progressed since. I mean, Berkshires were, you know, smaller breed, and now I would consider them a main breed in that grand scheme of things.
We've started, you know, within this interview, talked about his grand scheme influence on the Berkshire breed, but I just want to take a couple seconds to talk about his, you know, some of his first individual important wins that really kind of catapulted him to what we think started a legendary siring career. You know, with his son, Superfly, his grandson, SoFly, 2Fly, and his full brothers, Big Gulp and Dark Knight. And some of his first major wins, which would have been our first crop of pigs from our first semen selling season. I mean, Superman had an incredible first crop. It included the Houston champion Berkshire Barrow, the Oklahoma Youth Expo Reserve champion Berkshire Barrow, Team Purebred Southwest Regional Champion and Reserve Berkshire Barrows. They went on to be Grand and Reserve overall breeds. The San Antonio Reserve Berkshire Gilt, San Angelo Reserve Berkshire Gilt, the Fall Classic Champion and Reserve Berkshire Males, the Fort Worth Stock Show Champion Berkshire Boar, the World Pork Expo Champion Berkshire Gilt, Indiana State Fair 4-H Show Reserve Berkshire Gilt, Indiana State Fair Grand Champion Open Show Berkshire Gilt, and Indiana State Fair Grand Champion Berkshire Boar that was top selling at $14,000. As I alluded to, his sons were also incredibly influential and kind of took that once in a lifetime title we thought belonged to Superman and took it the next year, and Superfly kind of carried on his tradition. You know, his Superman's best son, Superfly, Superbad, and then, like I said, descendants, SoFly, 2Fly, and Big Gulp, Dark Knight. But Superfly was the prominent son, the go-to son, and we thought we'd never see a sire like Superman, but Superfly stepped right in and filled in his dad's shoes. Started off with the Oklahoma Youth Expo Grand Overall Breeds Gilt that brought $32,000, which was a record at that time. San Angelo Open Show, Grand Overall Breeds Gilt, sold for $7,000. The Houston Champion Berkshire Barrow, San Antonio Champion Berkshire Barrow, the San Angelo Junior Show Champion Berkshire Gilt, Oklahoma Youth Expo Reserve Gilt, Team Purebred Southwest Regional Reserve Grand Overall Breeds Gilt, and the Team Purebred Southwest Regional Reserve Overall Breeds Barrows.
Unfortunately, Superman's success was short-lived.
So we lost him pretty early, just after heading into his second season. We went out in the barn one day and was kind of swaying back and forth, didn't know what was wrong, and a couple of days later couldn't really put any weight on at all on anything. So tried a few different things to try to get him up and going here. Nothing worked. So it didn't look good at all. We had to drag him on the trailer, took him up to get acupuncture, and worked incredibly well. The first time like I said, we had to drag him on the trailer. When we got home, we walked off the trailer. So we thought, you know, okay, he'll be good to go. Not long after though, he went down again for a second time and never recovered from that one.
After that first time, we thought we were good and everything was going to work out. Unfortunately, he got hurt again shortly after. Kind of interesting story there after that is that Kyle Poland, who happened to live right next to the vet we were taking him to for the acupuncture, and he volunteered to put Superman at his place so that he could get multiple treatments and have the best shot of getting better. As you know, or some of you know, Kyle Poland's married to Lindsay Schaefer, who is obviously part of the Schaefer family that owns Gold Rush. And, you know, is one of the early examples of how the boar stud fraternity works together and kind of takes care of each other. Really haven't had a negative experience yet with any boar stud. Everybody kind of works together and looks out for each other. And it's just been truly amazing to see how each of us get along. And I think most people will be pretty shocked at how competitors still act as friends. So like I say, having KP volunteer to get Superman up there was pretty amazing. We're still grateful today.
The Lairds, premium blend genetics, the Berkshire breed in general owe a lot to Superman. He truly was a livestock legend.
The impact he had on the Berkshires in, like I said, just a short amount of time is pretty incredible. It's kind of, think what he could do if he had 4 years, you know, but kind of adds a little bit to the mystique. You know, he wasn't here for long, but he kind of changed a lot of things. So, you know, he really checks off every everything for what it takes to be a legend, you know, on the kind of the Hall of Fame sires for us here. So
the influence was not just a grand scheme, you know, sons, daughters, descendants. He really had some major monumental wins in those first 2 crops that really catapulted him to what we believe made him a legendary sire.
Superman, we thought with what he ended up doing was absolutely a livestock legend, and kind of changed everything in the Berkshire breed. You know, we wouldn't be where we are today. We wouldn't have what we have going in the boar stud business. And you know, we just built a facility here in 2018, February timeframe, and moved in here. And this facility has actually been just a life changer as far as efficiency and boar care, and how easy and just efficiency is incredible. So we owe it all to Superman, and then his followed up with Bone Collector. Both of those boars set us on the path and kind of built everything we have today.
This is a Walton Webcasting production, livestock like you've never seen before.